Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. In a time of economic or disaster or any kind of strife that would incur what's known as an SHTF scenario, this is the second part of the series on what to do in a situation and how it would play out and the rules and the ways to be able to protect yourself in a certain situation. Now, as you know, I'm not an expert in disaster preparedness, but a lot of it is sort of common sense, and I think it's interesting to analyze and see how things would play out in the timeline of certain things that occur, although it'd be different for the depending on the situation. But essentially, as we mentioned in the first video, the basic protections, no matter what the scenario, the type of a disaster situation occurs, is you want to be protected, you want to be fed, and you want to be clean and healthy. And you need to be clothed, obviously, as well, as is represented by my clothing here. But you need to adapt to the situation. I mean, who knows? You could come to a situation where if you run out of this stuff, you might have to eat this. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. But nonetheless, in a situation where the first thing that will occur, as we mentioned, in a situation that arises, no matter what it is that once people figure out and reconvene, they will talk about bartering and being able to barter and being able to trade goods and services that you need right then and there. That's how it started out when societies started to form, and they many millennia ago. And I believe that will be the first thing we think of in times of economic disaster or a situation like that were to arise. And in a disaster situation, having extra water to trade for extra peanut butter or what have you, I think is going to be very important in time as things start to rebuild and you start to rebuild a community. And that's really what this video is about. It's about community, because when you have community and people reforming in neighborhoods and in groups, well, you're going to be trading to be able to provide goods and services to those around you, because you want those around you to be healthy and viable so that you can rebuild together. And so once that occurs, and then you get together with other groups and you form a system, if the government were to actually fail, in the unlikely event that that were to happen, then you would take your immediate sphere of influence and those groups in your community, and then you would talk to other communities and find ways to build yourselves up stronger. You know, maybe a situation where you provide defense if your particular group has a surplus of weapons and bullets to help defend your immediate commune, so to speak, and community, and you can help protect other areas as well. You know, there's different ways that this can occur, and the ways that communities as a whole can come together and form a larger regional type situation, which would essentially mean that you would be forming a government, a local government, out of the ashes and the wake of the situation that had occurred, where you have stockpiles and ways to be able to accumulate or maybe even manufacture some of these things that you see before you. Soap can be remanufactured, or it can be sourced from different areas and the like, in all these different ways. You could bottle your own water if you have different sources. If in your community you have a spring or some way to be able to get more water, then that could prove to be very valuable as you start to form your government. Now, in the case of a situation where you have a natural disaster or a man-caused disaster, such as an EMP or some other scenario that is not necessarily economic, but even in some cases an economic scenario, then you will begin to utilize currency. That's right. Because the American, especially if you live in the United States, these bills here and these coins are familiar. It's what you used to exchange before the situation happened. And even though they won't have any fiat designator, it is understood, and it's the faith of the people in them because it's something that they understand. So they will be, I believe that they could be used in as a system of barter and exchange as a currency. But it's only a matter of time. That's very delicate situation to where, it's only based off the faith of the people. There's really nothing designating as valuable other than the trust of the people behind it. And so once you move to that phase of something that's familiar until it loses faith, which could happen pretty much at any moment, then I believe it will move to another type of system, a fungible currency known as money, gold, and silver indeed. And in fact, I believe this is where, in time, and it may take a little while, in the situation where you want to always be prepared and always ready for a situation, this is why most of us in this community accumulate gold and silver for a time such as when communities get together to form essentially a self-government type situation, a self-local government. These will become used as a mode of exchange. And in the next video, we'll talk about exactly how this will occur and what types of silver and gold at times, and also touch and reflect on how this currency could be used and how it will be exchanged in a situation that would occur in an SHTF scenario. And again, it's unlikely that this would happen in the immediate future, but it's always good to be prepared just in case a worst case scenario occurs. And there's different levels of being prepared. And I think it's just a matter that we all use our own common sense and have a surplus of things such as cash, gold and silver, food, weapons, bullets, and the like, and things that you think could possibly be used to trade and to barter in a situation that would occur in the aftermath of an SHTF scenario, economic collapse. And there you have it. This is the second video. Always be prepared. Always be ready. But also don't panic, and don't. I wouldn't waste your whole life worrying about a situation that could occur, because we all have lives to live and we should enjoy them. But there's nothing wrong with being prepared, and I think that's one of the reasons why we stack and accumulate precious metals in situations such as that we fear could happen down the road. But I think many of us, at times, we think of ourselves as being, hey, when we have our silver and gold, we're ready, we enjoy it, we love it, but there's so much more that has to happen before silver and gold are used as a modem, as fungible money in exchange, as a new self-governing situation arises. Because it's only then, it's only when you have a newly formed self-government to where gold and silver will be used, in my opinion. So that's where I think the things lie in the timetable would occur with a situation that occurs in a disaster situation. So post your thoughts below on your thoughts about this. If there's anything I left out, let me know in the comment section below. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch this series. And stay tuned for part 3, where I talk about the types of gold and silver and cash that will be used in a situation that would arise under an SHTF scenario, both man-caused or natural. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.